One of the creepiest things I do is every now and then I calculate how many days I have left to live. Yes, I do this. How you do this is you decide how long you think you're going to live till. I think I'm going to live till I'm 100 years old, minus the age I am now, 49, times 365 days in a year equals 17,785 days left to live. That's how many days I have left to live. If you guys have never done this, pause the video, take out your calculator, do the math right now, and figure out how many days you have left in your life, because this matters. Being that next year is my big 5-0, I decided to sit down and write down the top 5 mistakes that hold you back. The best thing about being midlife, you guys, is you have figured a lot of stuff out. And I will tell you, when you hit midlife, you reach a no F's given state of being. And then you look back at all the F's you gave. Depending upon how many days you have left to live, will decide how many of these mistakes you want to stop making. But remember, you guys, I always say we need a negative feedback loop. All negative feedback is there to course correct us back to what? Back to the ultimate version of ourselves. So let's go ahead and get started. And unlike most videos that save the best tip for last, I'm saving the inappropriate tip for last. So if you want to jump around, the timestamps are in the box below. Let's go ahead and get started with number 1. One mistake that we all make is being a prostitute in our relationships. Let me explain. One of my favorite books is called The Toltec Secret to Happiness, and it talks about all the different archetypes that we embody. Majority of us embody the prostitute archetype. So this is when we have the tendency to sell out our beliefs or our integrity to gain something in return, whether that is love, support, financial security. So obviously the prostitute symbolizes a metaphorical compromise between your self-worth and your beliefs. And if you don't feel like this is resonating, hold on, calm down, Sparky, because let me share with you 4 other ways that this unfolds in your relationships. Or maybe your friend invites you to an event or a party that you have zero interest in because it makes you feel uncomfortable and you don't want to go, but you go anyway because you don't want to disappoint her. You're doing something you don't want to do. You're sacrificing your boundaries and your comfort to please someone else. So basically, anytime you're saying yes when you want to say no, staying in unhealthy situations for the sake of external benefits. These are the kind of friends that you hang out with because they know the right people, they go to the right places, but they treat you like shit. Or you're dating a guy that has money because of the lifestyle he can provide you, but you are in a toxic situation. So the prostitute role is about self-abandonment. It took me a long time to learn that every time I said yes when I wanted to say no, I was further abandoning myself. The problem with this is we attract what we are. So if you attract people that are abandoning you, it's because deep down somewhere you are consistently abandoning yourself. Another problem with self-abandonment is if you feel lonely, that is why. Because every time you abandon yourself, you are disconnecting from yourself. You're creating an internal disconnect. Loneliness has nothing to do with who is sitting next to you, and I have studied loneliness for years. It is an internal state of being. If you're lonely, it's because you have created such a disconnect from constantly abandoning yourself to please others. So what I want you guys to do, if you find any alignment in this message, is to stop saying yes when you want to say no. That is the very simple step 1. All right, so this one's very difficult. It's very hard to master and it takes time, so don't put pressure on yourself with this one. But the second mistake that you need to stop doing that will hold you back is internalizing insults. There is a page in my poem book that says an unhealed man will spew vulgarity all over you. However, I will tell you guys right now, 3 of my biggest insults that I can fully remember held so much information. If you can stop being offended for just a second and listen, I believe that all men are messengers. It's really important that I share this one, you guys, because you might get hit with this, and I need you guys to zoom out if this happens to you, because it could be a very painful personal attack. I went on a date with this guy. On the date, he spoke poorly about his ex-wife and he spoke poorly about his daughter. That's a huge red flag for me. Immediate out. I do not paint red flags white anymore. I ended the date kindly. He continued to text me throughout the weeks and I was just always busy. This must have triggered him. He laid me out. And that's when I actually saw the true colors of the man that was the one insulting his ex-wife and his daughter. He said to me, "Look at yourself. You have zero worth. You are 45 years old. You have no kids, no family. And do you think any man is going to take what you do seriously? What a joke." Now listen to me, you guys. Listen very carefully. because the dating climate has changed and it is very aggressive. And in that moment, the anger I felt was if he would have said this to someone more vulnerable, someone that can't handle blows the way that I can. Not that that's a brag or a flex, because it's not. What I learned in this moment, anytime anyone spews any type of vulgarity over you, it's this rage, that is their internal truth. That is their internal fear, their internal wound. So flip the script of what he said to me. I have no family. I have no kids. Is anyone going to take me seriously? When the fact of the matter is, from what he shared with me and the insults he said about his family, he has no family. He has no relationship with his kid. Is anyone going to take him seriously at the age he's at? That's the question. And understand that you actually need that emotional punch, that charge. It's like taking the defibrillator paddles and like dolching yourself to break the psycho-cybernetic loop. Because how often that voice rushed to the surface? It's that moment that you can harness that energy and course correct your self-talk. So when it comes to internalizing insults, take the blow, feel the charge, but then try to hear through the insult. What are you hearing? Point being, in these moments, we always have a choice, right? Who do you want to be? Who do you want to be when you grow up? I like to use the analogy of martial arts. When you become so skilled at martial arts, you don't engage in fighting anymore because you know how powerful you are. When you expand spiritually, you will not engage with low vibrating people. You will not give your energy away because you know how powerful you are. It's a different kind of power. It's not as fun as nuking someone off the planet. I remember how fun that felt. It's a different kind of power. Funny thing is about attacking, when I was the most aggressive, I was so fear-based. Now that I'm healed and there's no fear, I don't feel the need to attack because I just have this all-knowing state of being. The next thing is giving up on yourself. Giving up on yourself should not be on autopilot. However, if it is, you can use the body to retrain the mind. I was an athlete my whole life, so that is the one thing I had that served me when I dealt with struggles throughout my life. I have this mindset that nothing is effing taking me down. So an exercise I like to do is find a way to stress your body out. And this can easily be done with fitness. Choose a wall squat or choose a plank. Either one of those will stress your body and get the negative self-talk to kick in. I want you guys to set a timer on your phone. Maybe you're at 30 seconds. Set the timer for 30 seconds. The minute your legs start to shake, the minute you start to feel your negative talk surface, I want you to replace it with this mantra, because so many of us that give up on ourselves are stuck in a victim mentality. This is what I want you to say. I release the role of victim and reclaim my power. If you guys want to download the audio file I have for this, it's in the link in the description box. We are almost at the inappropriate one, but before that, the next one is blaming the mirror for your flaws. Just like that man that insulted me, whatever enrages you embodies you. Whatever enrages you embodies you. Please try to process that, you guys. Who is the real villain? When you're attacking someone, are they the villain? When you're mad at someone, are they the villain or are you the villain? People are simply messengers, and focusing on them is simply a way of deflecting. It is a lot easier to project rage and blame onto somebody else because it's uncomfortable to sit with the actions of our own truth. But I always say you have no secrets from yourself, and I will never forget. I know exactly where I was sitting, exactly where I was when I got my first whisper of awareness because someone was doing to me what I had done for years to other people, but I never got caught. So it was like it didn't happen. This is the stuff that we don't want to sit with. These are our ugly truths. So until I had someone do all the vile things that I had done to so many people but not got caught to me, I was deflecting the whole time. This is what I like to call the ugly mirror. When we blame the person that reflects our truth or holds us accountable, we're actually deflecting responsibility. We're refusing to look in the ugly mirror because the ugly mirror reflects back all our flaws. So the mirror isn't the problem, it's what the mirror is revealing. So blaming the mirrors for your flaws is a mistake that will keep you stuck. All right, guys, and lastly, the inappropriate one, the mistake that I used to make is following the size of a man's heart on instead of the size of a man's heart. Let me explain. To all my size queens out there, you're going to understand this one. Let me know if you feel differently, but in my experience, guys with big dicks are usually big dicks. So why is there such an obsession? I had to literally study the science behind this to break the cycle, and I am going to share it with you verbatim. I wrote it down. You're gonna wanna pay attention to this. This is really good. When things scientifically make sense, I can connect the dots and completely break the chain. So it turns out when sex is good, but you really can't stand the person, just meaning that you don't really get along with the person, but the sex is really good, it's the same as a drug-induced high. We all kind of know that. It releases dopamine transmitters, the feel-good juice. We know that, but this is actually kind of the good stuff. It says them following up with inconsistency, which is usually what they do, if you guys have ever experienced this, it creates a push-pull that makes the mind feel as if something is unresolved, creating a psychological urge to be closer to the person. Wait, there's more. The science is what really got me, and this one is so good. So emotionally unavailable men create a sense of unpredictability, which we already know. It's actually mentally stimulating for the mind. It literally is like a game, like literally, you know what I mean? And it says your brain is wired to seek patterns, which I talk about all the time. However, the unpredictability of the person's behavior creates a reward cycle. What are we winning? Oh, big dig. Yeah, okay. You may crave the highs that come when they are affectionate, even if it's infrequent and inconsistent. This creates a cycle where you feel addicted to their attention, even if it's not healthy for you. And this is exactly why mindset training is essential. Look what our minds do to us. We have got to be training our minds to move in the direction of the life that we desire. We have to be training our minds to embody the state of being that will make the right choices, that will have the right conversations, that will start walking through open doors to get the life that we desire. So depending upon how many days you guys have left to live, we'll decide how many of these mistakes you decide to stop doing. Hopefully this video is helpful. I have just given you one of my days, and I will be giving you many more because this is my passion, this is my purpose. If this video is helpful, you guys are gonna wanna watch this one, and I will see you guys next week.